Hello guys, hope you're really well. I'm recording this on Thursday night to go up on Friday morning, and the subject of today's video is Declan Rice and Declan Rice's decision between Arsenal and Manchester City, because today, Thursday, the news broke that Manchester City would be following up their interest in Declan Rice that we were aware of with a formal bid. Now, people close to the situation expected this to come for some time, especially once Ilkay Gundogan chose Barcelona. That created a vacancy in the Manchester City midfield, and Declan Rice, as we all know, absolutely has the talent to fill it. Now, the headline of this video is probably going to be something like 5 reasons why Declan Rice might choose Arsenal, with the emphasis on might. And I'm sure in some quarters of the internet that will be ridiculed for being ludicrously optimistic. In reality, it comes from a place of concern and pessimism, because with news of Manchester City's interests, the sort of equation, the puzzle I've been thinking about over the past day or so is, why would Declan Rice choose Arsenal? I've been scratching my brain thinking of, well, what are the things that we've got in our favour? Because I think Manchester City, their interest, it speaks for itself. They have the money, certainly, to blow Arsenal out of the water in terms of both the fee, in terms of how that's paid, the speed of the payments, and also the salary. They have that capability. We are up against a nation state, effectively, and that's pretty tough going for a club that's run relatively within its means. They have the manager. Mikel Arteta is a fantastic manager, an incredibly engaging, inspiring presence. He could talk people into a lot of things. There are very few managers in world football who could make a more appealing pitch than Mikel Arteta. I suspect one of them is Pep Guardiola. I can't think of a player out there who wouldn't want to play under Pep. He is the man, probably the best manager in the world, and has improved the careers of countless players. So they've got that in their favour, and finally they've got the success. They've got the trophies. In football, there are no guarantees, but I think it's about as close to a guarantee as possible that if you sign for Manchester City, you will win some silverware. In the course of your 5-year contract, whatever it is, you're going to pick something up. There's very few, sort of versions of reality where I see them not winning anything in that period. So no guarantees, but a certain degree of comfort, I think, in your choice. So, I hope I've bummed everyone out sufficiently. I'm just going to end the video there. Only joking. No, I am going to talk about the reasons I've sort of landed on why Declan Rice might choose Arsenal. And until this point, everything I've heard has suggested he is very committed to Arsenal. He is very committed to that project. Could Man City turn his head? I mean, it is all going to come down to his decision ultimately. This is not a situation like Mykhailo Mudryk, where I think he didn't really have the power in that particular transfer saga between Arsenal and Chelsea. He kind of went a bit where he was told, was certainly the impression I got. I think if he'd had his way, it would have been Arsenal. Sorry, I just think that's the case. Shakhtar wanted to do the deal with Chelsea, and that gave them the advantage. I think West Ham would rather do the deal with Man City, to be honest with you. Their supporters would rather not see him play for a London club. I think probably the owners feel the same. So City have got that in their corner. But I think Declan Rice, the agreement he has with the owners at West Ham, the agreement he has with the owners at West Ham, they ultimately, I think, will respect his wishes. So I think it will be his choice. So here we go, right? These are my 5 reasons that I think Declan Rice could conceivably choose Arsenal. So, number 1, it's Arsenal's commitment to him. Man City have followed Declan Rice, yes, but they have not been anything like as committed to him as Arsenal have been until this point. Arsenal have been working on this deal since before Christmas. They've made it very clear to Rice that he is integral to their plans. They've been very dedicated in that approach, very personal in that approach. And there's been absolutely no doubt at any stage that he was their number 1 target. Now, City, while they've stayed abreast of things, they have come to this relatively late. I don't think they've put in anything like the groundwork that Arsenal have. But sometimes money talks, right? And the allure of playing for Pep or for the champions may talk. But if Rice, is if he wants to go where he's wanted most and to who's put the most legwork into this transfer, who spent the longest time convincing him, outlining, how he's going to play, where he'll be involved, how they see him part of the future of the club, Arsenal have definitely covered all that ground. Will that be a factor in his decision? We'll have to wait and see. The second reason is his role in the team. And I think this is actually a really interesting one. Arsenal have a very specific role in mind for Declan Rice. They want him to play at the base of the midfield. They want him to take over from Thomas Partey. And I think they see him as pretty integral to the new structure of their team moving forward next season. At Man City, I think it's a bit cloudier in terms of how he'd be used and where he'd play. Will he look at Calvin Phillips, for example, who went there last summer and barely got a kick? In that holding midfield position, of course, they have Rodri, who is potentially the best in the Premier League, who's 27 at the peak of his powers, just recently scored the winner in a Champions League final. He is not going anywhere. So if Rice wants to play at the base, then he's got some massive competition there. Why would he want to play at the base? Well, it's the role he plays with England. And to be honest, when you look at the competition that's out there, he could nail that position with England for the next 5, maybe even 10 years. That's a factor. He plays in midfield for England with Bellingham. He's never going to be Bellingham, right? They're always going to need a sitter in this England team. And I think Rice has the intelligence, the positional awareness, the consistency of passing, the ball-winning ability to do that, to be that guy and absolutely nail that position. City might say, well, look, come here and you'll play box to box. You've done it at West Ham. He's spoken in the past about his admiration for Yaya Toure. That's an opportunity to do that, to go and play the more sort of barnstorming game, the Steven Gerrard game that we've seen him doing at West Ham. If that's what he wants, maybe. But I think Arsenal have very carefully sold him on, look, we see your future here. Come and be the pivot. Come and be one of the best in the world in that position. We believe we can make you that. So where he wants to play, where he wants to be on the pitch, his deployment could be a factor in his decision. If he wants to play the deeper role, Arsenal might be the place he's going to get to do that consistently. London is reason number 3. I think it is a factor for him. He is a London boy. His whole career's been around London, Chelsea, and then West Ham. He has a young family. He doesn't necessarily want to completely uproot based on things I'd heard. Again, money can take a lot of those problems away, but that is one of the factors in London's favour. Number 4, and people might say this is stretching it a bit, but it's the atmosphere. He's played in West Ham's stadium, the old Olympic Stadium, for the past few years, and there's a lot about that stadium that isn't great. It came to life a little bit at times this season, certainly for the big European games, but with the sort of distance between the pitch and the stands, it's nothing like Upton Park. Arsenal, last season, for my money, and for many people's money, I think they're up there with Newcastle for the best atmosphere in the league last season. Consistently, it was electric. And City, I think, struggled to generate, maybe because of just the amount of success they've experienced, generate that sort of raw atmosphere that Arsenal have engendered in the last few years, and huge credit to the club because it was at times the Highbury Library, it was the soulless Emirates, plastic new stadium. It's not anymore. It's home, it's alive, it's electric. And I think a player like Rice, certain players just absolutely thrive on that. They love it, they live. That's the reason they play the game, for atmospheres like that. Others I think could take or leave it, but maybe Rice is one of those for whom that is a real attraction. He wants to be part of it. He's seen it last season. He's felt the buzz, and he wants to be part of it. And reason number 5, I'm going to say, is just being first. Being first at Arsenal to win the league. I say first, obviously the first for like a couple of decades, but City are coming off the greatest season in their history. They've won the treble. How do they go up from here? How do they improve? There's some guarantee of success, it feels like, but you're never going to be a hero for them in the way that you are at Arsenal if you help them get there, if you help them go far in the Champions League or lift the Premier League title. And make no mistake, he will want to lift a Premier League title. This is a player who will have that on his to-do list, on his bucket list for his career. Does it mean more doing it at Arsenal? Does a trophy with Arsenal, being the guy who helps Arsenal get there after so long, does that mean more than following in the footsteps of the treble winners and trying to live up to that standard when it's frankly probably impossible? So they're my reasons. There are other things in Arsenal's favour. Look, they've got a great coach, Mikel Arteta. Well, City have got a great coach too. Declan Rice has got great friends in the Arsenal squad, Aaron Ramsdale, Bukayo Saka. Well, he knows plenty of the City players from England training as well. Everything else, I think, pretty much gets cancelled out. Those, for me, were the 5 things that I thought that could give Arsenal an edge if those things are important to Declan Rice. And I guess we're about to find out. The other thing to say is that we're assuming City will go all the way. They may not. You know, they are a club who are quite disciplined in their approach at times. If they really want a player, they do pay big sums. Look at 100 million for Jack Grealish. But there are other times when they've walked away from deals. You know, Cucurella last summer, he's not the only one. There have been players where the value's got to a certain level where they've thought, actually, do you know what? We're all right. We're probably going to be fine anyway. We'll go and get somebody else. And to their credit, they have done. Arsenal may feel, having put so much legwork, so much effort into this transfer over such a sustained period of time, they have to get it over the line. They may push the boat out. But they may not as well. If City go really hard, Arsenal may look at situations like Mudryk and others where they've been Rafinha, missed out on targets and brought other players in and been fine. They've been fine. I just think that Rice is one that they are absolutely set on, wedded to, that Mikel Arteta loves, that he'll be really disappointed if they don't get. My sense is Arsenal, as they did with Mudryk really, will push this as far as they can. Will that be enough? We'll find out. I'll speak to you soon. It's going to be an interesting few days. Bye-bye. Oh, subscribe, yeah? Bye.